So he finished one fancy private school and graduated from a good university. Now he worked as a senior executive in one good company. And once his boss said him to come to him to discuss some details, and he said that his contract was terminated, and most of his colleagues were laid off. The time was tough, and they had to downsize, and so everybody had to sacrifice. And the narrator thought that why the boss couldn't sacrifice, because he had an expensive car, and his wife had a lot of diamonds and some jewelry, so expensive, and the boss couldn't sacrifice. But that guy, the narrator, with 3 kids and with wife, should sacrifice. And moreover, he had a birthday today, so it was such a blow in his back, and he thought that his services were no longer needed here. And he thought to find, should he look for another job now, or and while he was working down out of the office with a carton box with his belongings, after 20 years of excellent work in this company, he thought that it was not good, it was not fair. And he remembered when he was 26, and when he looked for a job, and he wrote a CV and had a dozen of job interviews, and he kept on searching and searching. And once he saw a notice, a post in one magazine, business magazine, and that seemed promising to him, because he had the right skills and the right level of education, and he had a cover letter, and he was interviewed. The interview wasn't long, it was short, and they told him that he was hired, and he was ready to work there. He worked there very hard, and he worked there practically 24/7. It's not literally, but something like that. And he worked very hard. He was promoted. He was shifted several times, and now he is a senior executive. And he started working at 7, was checking his emails and asking for some of them that were very that they need to answer first of all. Then he went to his office, and he worked there from 9 to 5, and he had a lot of responsibilities there. And he overworked, because he had a lot of business partners who lived in other time zones. And now he had 115 workers in his company, and they were going to lose their job, and he had no he didn't know how to say that to them, and during his work he um, was several times on the edge of exhaustion, and he overworked. He was sleep deprived, and he said about his mother, she worked as a teacher, and she had a workaholism, and she didn't want his son do the same as she. And his father worked in a factory, and he worked there for the whole of his life. And he said that they had strikes, and they demanded to be fair to them, but this narrator couldn't do this because that time his wife was pregnant, and he had to work. He couldn't quit his job, and he had to work. He couldn't stop working. And now happened that he ended up by dismissing, and now he never liked his boss, and now he wanted to say that to him, and he got back to say that to say what he thought about him, and that he was very bad boss, incompetent. And when he entered back to his office, he saw confetti bunch of balloons, and everybody yelled happy birthday, and it was a big surprise because it was like a birthday prank. And now his boss was red with laughter, and the narrator decided that that was enough, and he quitted himself.